Burmese refugees in India are mostly from different ethnic minority groups and some Burmans as well. The ethnic minority is faced with constant repression by the militia for over 4 decades and have been fleeing to the neighboring countries like India and China. In India, they earn the status of refugee but enjoy no legal protection from harassment, discrimination and abuse. India has no specific legal system in place to tackle this menace.
At the moment what is happening is Burmese refugees come, they go to UNHCR, then UNHCR looks at the case. UNHCR doesn't necessarily determine based on the needs of the person, the threat to the person. UNHCR determines based on how many people can possibly they support in a year. Now if there is an influx of 1,000 refugees from Chinland, is UNHCR in a position to fund these 1,000 refugees? No.
Since 1988 uprising in Burma, there has been steady stream of Burmese population coming to India. They can hardly communicate in English or Hindi. Life as a refugee thus become even harder for them. Struggling with poverty, they face discrimination in every step of their daily life. Forced to pay more as rent, they often live in cramped apartments, struggling with constant threat of eviction in the Indian capital city. Both professional and sexual harassment leave them vulnerable. However, those who are living in India since the 70s offer support and guidance to survive. But it's too little for such a grave situation.
I have been staying here for more than 10 years since 1995 and faced many difficulties. I get only 1,700 rupees from UNHCR. I have 4 family members and daily is very costly. Sometimes our neighbors fight with us because we cook smelly food. They cannot tolerate the smell. We don't get much assistance from UNHCR. India government has only given permission to stay here, but no aid is provided by them. My son goes to a government school where they teach Hindi only.
When there is political unrest and when there is poverty and when there is military dictatorship, any normal human being wanting a peaceful life and a dignified livelihood and a democracy would not want to live in a country like that. And anybody who would speak up against the generals would obviously either be jailed or shot or would disappear in some way. So the more injustice and violence any country goes through, the more people will run away from that country. And India has always been a repository, in fact, of collecting refugees. And it has over the years certainly suited us to be kind and good and hospitable to the Tibetans. But with the Burmese, although initially the government came out in support of Aung San Suu Kyi, today very few voices like to even mention her name, because we think that we can carry out trade with Burma. We think that if we become a friend of Burma and do what they call constructive engagement, then the Burmese generals will help us with our border problems and with our economic development. Unfortunately, in India, I think we go through this situation of benign neglect.
India is not a signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention, nor does it have any domestic legal system in place to address this issue.